Hello, today lecture is about Internet, World Wide Web, its component and concepts. So let's get started. First thing is Internet. What is Internet? It's a interconnected network, global system of interconnected computers, and these computers are connected using TCP/IP protocol on a worldwide basis. So this form the Internet, and there are some concepts like World Wide Web, electronic mails, file sharing. We will discuss it later. But in general, the internet is the interconnected network of networks, and this is the definition of internet: an interconnected global system of interconnected computers that uses TCP/IP protocols to link devices worldwide. Is the internet, and this is the definition you will need to memorize. The next concept is a brief history of internet from where this internet origin and its today scenario. There was a project called Advanced Research Project Agency Network, which was kind of US Department of this Defense collaboration with the military research, and that ARPANET project make use of computers to share some kind of confidential information among military bases. And later on, that ARPANET project split into two parts. One which we use today is called Internet, and rest part is reserved for military purposes. And here it is saying the development of hypertext technology, which we called World Wide Web, provide means of displaying text, graphics, animations, and easy to search tools for the World Wide Web. And this is the history. In 1960s, US Defense started the project called ARPANET, and later on it split into two networks, WITNET and CSNet. But in the earlier days, this kind of research project was privileged to some special research organization, but today it is available to most of the audience, general public. And yes, internet is the network of networks. And the next thing is what are the basis services provided by the over the internet? These are the emails, file transfer, telnet, and world wide web. Let's discuss them one by one. This first facility is the email. It stands for electronic mail, and generally email is used to collaborate. We can send any type of text, documents, images to anyone connected over the internet. There are two things we require. First is the username, and second one is the host name. These two components constitute the email address, and you can see in this case the host name is yahoo.com, and the username is dps. These username and host name are separated by @ symbol. Email addresses are generally assigned by email web servers. You might be using Google email servers called Gmail, might be other service provider for emails, and basically to send electronically emails, documents, email is used. And here are some advantages of email. First one is the speed. In the earlier days, when the post offices were prevalent. The time required to send one document from one location to another location make use lot of time. Lot of time was consumed, maybe days, maybe months. But in today era, with the help of internet, we can send the document from one region to another region, might be separated by a lot of distance in a fraction of seconds as the internet work with the speed of light. So every bit of data, every bit of information we share using the internet travel with the speed of light. So the first advantage is the speed. Any person sitting in this university can retrieve or send emails to the person sitting in Bangalore within milliseconds. So speed is very high. Second thing is cost. Generally, whenever we send the mails in traditional ways using post office or might be using text messages, it usually costs us some amount money. But in case of email, it is totally free. There is zero cost for using basic email services. And next is advantage is waste reduction. Most of the emails are digital in nature, so there is no wastage of paper. So wastage, paper wastage is also reduced, and it's also easy to use and good way to maintain record, proper record you can maintain with the help of archiving your emails. And although there are some applications, here are the limitations of email. First one is the hardware requirement, and to send the email you need a certain kind of hardware connected to the internet. It could be a smartphone, it could be a laptop, it could be a desktop. So in order to send or receive email you need some kind of sophisticated hardware. And the next thing is the security. Security, generally, whenever we are sending anything over the internet, there arises a issue with the security. Is that data confidential whenever we are transmitting the data over the network or not? And what kind of sensitive information we can share using email, and the data servers where all that information is stored, it is it protected, well protected or not, is kind of security issue. Basically, these are two main limitations. First is the hardware, and second one is the security, I think. And next thing is protocol, file transfer protocol. What is this FTP? FTP generally is there are two things. Uh, if we want to receive any files from the internet, it's called downloading. And whenever we are sending files to a remote computer over the internet, is called uploading. And what does FTP? FTP governs some set of protocols, some set of rules which helps to send or receive files to the web server, remote servers. And I will discuss later server, what is server and what is client. So if I am having a web server and I need to upload some kind of images, code files, I need an FTP client to send those files. Similarly, to retrieve those files, I need some FTP client on my system. Here is the general concept. This is in the center. This is our FTP server, and this server might hold images, audios, videos, textual document, anything. It could be a web server, it could be a mail server, anything. And these tools are the FTP clients. It could be a desktop, it could be a smartphone, or a laptop. So in the first step, it is sending this file from this computer to this FTP server. And in the second scenario, the FTP server is providing this file to the FTP client. In this case, is we call uploading, and here it is downloading. And this is the popular FTP client called FileZilla we use to connect with our web servers. What are the web servers? Web servers are where your websites are hosted. Website could be your university website, it could be a personal blog website, uh, anything. Popular is a kind of popular FTP software and is free to use. We generally access our web server. On the right hand side, this region it shows our web server, and you can see list of directories and files on this particular web server, and it's using particular host name, username and password along with the port to connect to the server. And on the left hand side is my desktop client, and all the files on my local system are listed over here. I can upload the files or download the files using this FileZilla FTP client. Now next thing is telnet. In the older time, in the era of 2000s, telnet was popular. Generally, to access the remote computers. In currently we use softwares like TeamViewer, which provide access to remote computer with the graphical user interface. We can see the desktop of the remote computer. We can control all the settings from another computer. And before TeamViewer, this Telnet kind of utility was embedded in Windows operating system and was used to access the computers remotely to perform any kind of operations. It could be a web server. We need to create some files folder to install some SSL certificates. To do that, we need command line access to that particular server. And Telnet was the utility which help the developers to achieve those goals. So generally a utility to helping developers remotely accessing the computer over the internet. And this is the some definitions you might go through. And here is a simple telnet command, and we are specifying the IP address of the remote server which we are interested to connect with, and you can see here we are connected to this server, and here it will ask for authentication using username and password. In this case, we are connecting to remote web server, I think. And this is another example where we are already authenticated using password, username and password, and we are connected to the server remotely. The next thing is the World Wide Web. Everything you search for www.google.com, www.abc.com, anything is all under is all comes under World Wide Web. And what is the World Wide Web? Its definition is it's an information space where documents and web resources are identified by the uniform resource locators and are interlinked by a hypertext which are accessible by the internet. So in general terms, we are having lot of kind of data. Data is generally of two types: textual data and binary data. In binary data, we are having images, audio, videos, documents. And if we want to share, collaborate with the other persons, other peoples, other communities, we, we want to access those documents which they possess, and we want to share the documents which we created, we generated, and we possess. We need this World Wide Web, and is popular, generally popular in form of websites. All the websites you use, they have some kind of text in them, they have some kind of graphics, some kind of videos, some kind of audios. All those components are interrelated using a World Wide Web. And URL, this is the one of the prominent concept of World Wide Web. It stands for Uniform Resource Locator. What is it? It is generally a web address to connect to any website. Say this is our website www.alex21c.com, and is the URL of my website. And initially you can see HTTP. It's the protocol, hypertext transfer protocol. We discussed FTP protocol. There is another protocol we called HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. And this protocol is used to access the web servers. And this URL consists of three components. First is the protocol. Second one is the host name. Host name is the remote computer or the remote web server on which our website is hosted. We call it host. And the third is the name of the file. Could be image file, could be code file, could be script, anything which we want to access. So this is the URL. We are saying just access the index.php file from the alex21c.com server. And the next thing is the important concept is URI. It stands for Uniform Resource Identifier. And in the previous example, we said this is the protocol, this is the host name, and from here on, it is the URI. Slash nodes. It represents there is a directory, there is a folder called nodes, and inside that nodes directory there is a file called index.php. So this thing after the host name we called uniform resource identifier. So let's see, this is another example, and this is our website. In it there is a folder called nodes, and inside that folder there is a file called index.php, and we are supplying some query strings. We call at these query strings begin with the question mark, and these query strings contain name value pairs, and in this case I am supplying the course value as pharmacy. Generally I'm telling this script that the details I want to fetch is of course pharmacy, and this is the all comes under uniform resource identifier URI, and whole thing the whole thing from the HTTP to this end character we call it URL. And the next thing is the web browsers. What are these? Let's see. What is a web browser? Generally it is a software that enables you to find or view information published on the world wide web. You might have heard of Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox. These are special kind of software with whom you can access the internet. You can surf, stream movies from YouTube, access social networking sites, access any kind of document on the World Wide Web, a website, a web service, anything. And here are the features. What are the features of the web browsers? You can see, you can read it yourself. And here is the important thing: types of browser. Initially, when the internet was released in 1993-94. The web browser was command line, or I can say just line browsers. Today, it's graphical browsers which consist of buttons, images, icons. But in the earlier versions, there were plain character-based, line-based browsers. And here are the popular browsers from Google is Chrome, and Mozilla is Firefox. From Apple is called Safari, and from Microsoft is Internet Explorer. And is the heading of the web browser, a software application for accessing information on World Wide Web. We call it a web browser. Next thing, what is web page? Generally, the source code of the website is written in the web pages. There could be multiple web pages on for a particular website. And generally, web page refer to a computer file, usually a hypertext written HTML document, and it acts as a web resource on World Wide Web. And this is the home page of a Google website, and it is just simply showing this image, Google logo here, and a text box where you type your query, and two buttons for search button, and this is some random search I am feeling lucky, and some kind of hyperlinks here to change the language, and there's some other buttons over here, some settings over here, and the web page you are just viewing is rendered from the source code, and here is the source code of this that all document, and this script is called HTML code document, and is all written in hypertext markup language. And this is the web page output, and this is the code which which construct the web page out here. So there is a language called HTML, hypertext markup language, which is used to develop websites, and we will see that later on. Next thing is the uses. What are the uses of internet? The first thing is information gathering. First application is we can gather any kind of information related to movies, related to art, music, astrology, and anything, any aspect of life you are passionate about. You can collect any kind of information for that particular genre from the internet, like novels, books, history, finance, anything, any kind of information you are interested. Earlier, we had to go to the library and go through the books to search the particular kind of information which we might or might not find. But today, with the help of internet, information gathering is become very much easy and comfortable, I can say. From any place, with just the internet connection, you can access any kind of information over the internet. Next is application is message communication. All kind of social networking sites, all kind of message communication apps which use video conferencing, audio conferencing, text messages, mails. All these technologies which are provided by the internet provide good opportunities for message communication, and the internet has revolutionized this telecommunication sector. This is the second application, and next thing is the businesses. How does the internet affect the businesses? Earlier, the businesses were offline, but with the help of internet, there is trend called e-commerce, electronic commerce, and you can grab customer from any state, any country, and share your products, sell your products, services, anything over the internet. Business could be product based, it could be a service based, and all that infrastructure behind the e-business would be provided by the internet. Next is application is in education, and there are a lot of interactive, I can say, animations. Animations are out there, graphics are out there to understand the complex concepts like in engineering, anything. I can say in case of agriculture, there is a process of seed germination, and there is a certain life cycle which seed take from germination stage to the harvesting stage. And for their real life, if we want to observe that, it could take months. But with the help of computer, there are animated tutorials, animated recording videos, which someone else captured all this process, and the scholars, research scholars, make use of that information to further enhance that knowledge. Another example is the working of mechanical diesel engine, how does that work or not. So there are a lot of things in education, and the internet is contributing and has contributed things, concepts. Healthcare sector, public, publishing sector, employment sectors, these two are internet providing these applications. So that's all. If you have any queries, you can let me know, and the notes for this lecture will be provided on my website alex21c.com/notes. That's all.